taking control of my space. Thanks so much. I'm learning. I'm slow, but I'm getting there. Momentum. Moving forward, gaining speed, building traction. Learning to ride a bike was child's play, but it hurt. I fell off a lot. Cuts, bruises, bangs, grazes, even a chipped bone. But it was worth it. I gained independence, autonomy, courage, the will to discover my world. I gained a love for speed. I also learned to apply my faith as a Christian, even as a child, to my journey. To trust that God would bring me home safe. To trust that God would steer my life in the way that I steered my bike. Also had to learn to trust in the laws of physics. That so long as I kept going forward, I wouldn't fall sideways. Sometimes if you go too slowly, you fall off. I wanted, with my newfound confidence, to change the world. I wanted everybody to share the joy in nature and the joy of the confidence and the freedom that I had. And I wanted the church to wise up and live more faithfully to our founder. So to be asked to come and speak at TEDx about momentum and moving forward, how could I turn it down? Well, I had lots of things to do, and well, here we are. As a vagrant and a traveller and a gypsy in this world, as a citizen, I hope, of heaven, but a nomad here, I relish the prospect of talking with you, my fellow travellers. But I'm a contrary being. And those words speak to me not just of momentum, but of drivenness. And I don't want to be driven. I want to drive. I want to be behind the wheel. I love driving. Anyone else love driving? I love driving. You get your foot and you feel, and if you put it down fast enough, you can feel the wheels spinning. And then eventually they grip and you head off up the road and you change up through the gears. You see that? I learned to drive in France. That was funny, I didn't know I was going to do that. And my husband, he calls me his getaway driver. I wonder why. What is it that I'm trying to get away from? What is driving me to drive? I'm not driven, oh no, not me. I'm in charge of my own life. But the question lingers. What is driving me so that I want to drive at full speed? The legal limit, and maybe a bit more. Risking my life, the life of the child that might run out across the street. What is the rush? Why all this forward momentum? Why all this drivenness to get on with it, whatever it is? It comes from frustration, it comes from anger. Since I was a child, I've been called by Christ to care for outcasts and the broken. Called to follow Christ, to live a life of love, to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with my God. But while justice was calling me, self-justification was driving. Righteousness was calling me to right living, right loving, right relationships. But self-righteousness was driving me to be one of the good guys. Driven by the need to be right, rather than to know and understand the whole truth, and to love my neighbour and to love my enemy, because that's what I'm called to do. I was driven also by good things, food for the hungry, water for the thirsty, for the girls around the globe who cart gallons of water uphill on their backs, barefoot before school, every day. Safety for the women who have not yet had the chance to tell us, now that we have a toilet in our village, we don't get raped when we go to the forest. These things drive me. At least they did, till I got tired, driven to distraction, destruction, disillusion, disappointed, defeated, depleted, out of fuel, depressed. I came to rest along the way. On this way, marked with suffering, with head, hands, heart, and feet, backs bared to stony whips. On this way, peopled with outcasts, and littered with broken bones and broken promises, abuses, mockery, nakedness and scorn. This way of helplessness and powerlessness, where prisoners are beaten and spat upon and masked and beheaded and crucified. This is no new way, but this way had been calling me from childhood. Come to me, you who labour and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I came to rest. I ground to a halt and came to rest. Here by the wayside, marooned in a lay-by, I was drawn to a new momentum. It was a field of poppies. They were just standing there, swaying back and forwards. They were lovely. They weren't the paper and the plastic patriotism, the superficial symbol of sacrifice, the gory glory of godless gods demanding death of youth, blood of babies, human sacrifice of hollow holiness. No, these poppies, and there's some just outside, they lived. And they danced and they shone in the sunlight, numberless and nameless, but noticed and known and needed. They overflowed with joy and freedom. Their life portrayed another way, not massacre and martyrdom, but life and love, integrity of identity, genuine joy. These poppies, momentum, they swayed in the breeze, back and forward, but their joy took root in hearts that saw them, and they raised their heads above the crop towards the light. These poppies moving forward, they stood their ground, rooted in earth, reaching for heaven. Their forward is in future generations, in seeds released aloft, set free to fly and find their future present. Their future present. These poppies gaining momentum take their time and multiply. They need no speed, no push to rush. They flower and fruit, fertilise and set seeds free to fly in faith. For in a fortnight, the crop outgrows the poppies. Their colours fade, they're seen no more. Their glory seeming past, it looks like all is lost. But faithful life, set free from desiccated seed heads, takes wing. The seeds of poppy truth take root and grow, outgrow next year's crop of wheat, in next year's crimson glow. These poppies building traction, they're ephemeral, thin, light as air. They live on this way of broken and defeated ones, abused and scorned. Their way of life persists, perfect in fragility, strong in weakness. Their grace is in abundance. Poppies have no power to spin the wheels, to grind the gears, to grip the ground. No such power compares to this barefooted way of walking with a winsome one who calls us. For grace, she has her own momentum, not driven forward from behind by anger, hatred, or a need to prove, but calling us towards a lover, calling us to come and be and walk. The steady pace of the walking God, 3 miles an hour. Slow enough to tend the little ones, to bind sore feet and bear sore souls. This one whose way is love, whose gift is life, calls us, invites us to fullness on this way. Slowly, gently, graciously to take the step and then another. Living, glowing, dancing like the flowers. The journey is not ours alone, but belongs to those who came before and those who come behind. Eternal revolutions of right loving, right living, generations of justice, an inheritance of hope and wholeness, a legacy of courageous love. Momentum then, for me, is this real moment to be you and me and we, who we really are designed to be, in all our glory, the image of God's own loving self, revealed in us and in the Spirit of Christ by grace. For she is this real moment, calling us to be. Grace has her own momentum. She bids us, be not driven, but be drawn by love. That the world be changed, the future made present, and life be lived from the inside out, from the downside up. Amen. And so be it.